if we were to try and make New Hampshire an even better place, our first goal would be to get the government out of the way.
This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by LRN.FM. Feds don't want you to hear them.
From the fruitful brainstorm. So, let's go around in a circle.
Now, how can we make our region?
Are we going that way?
Yeah, go ahead, Peg. What do you think most important issues? The aging population.
There are some key questions. I'm not going to go down and look at
We're not keeping our young youth in New Hampshire because they can't find jobs and things.
Changing climate.
Land use, keeping the open spaces, and yet developing areas for business and manufacturing to promote jobs.
Yeah, I guess I would just say my recommendation for fixing the problem, it would be just to basically decriminalize commerce. Commerce right now is almost illegal everywhere in the U.S. That's the probably a root of our troubles. So.
Then, well, what we're looking at.
My thing is private property rights. That's a big thing with me, and private water rights.
Really no longer have the ability to drive, and that's where they need the transportation. When you're talking that amount of elderly, you might not have that in other towns, but we happen to have that in my town.
Yeah, I guess you're asking what patterns people see, and I tend to bias what I see in terms of what I'm seeing right in front of me at the moment. But the pattern I see is increasing federal centralization, federal control through grants. And I have to say that this is part of that process. This is a federally grant-funded operation that seems to be maybe centralizing control ultimately. That's how I feel about GSF.
But as you can see, at least in New Hampshire, you're not going to get people that are just going to buy in.
Right. Yeah.
So,
But if they don't show up to the meeting and they get to the town hall, it'll be too late.
well, but I think that's all our responsibility to show up.
Exactly.
But nobody shows.
Well, if
Do
you
I?
don't know
I
about
agree.
it, how did you find out about this? I had to go digging. This was
No,
not
I got-
advertised to me.
I
had to
got my
find it.
email because I'm on an email.
See the turnout?
I know.
I think it's because the people don't know about it, honestly.
We had 299 people that came to town meeting
We need to
out of over 2,000 voters.
Oh, okay.
That's sad.
And now it's more like 20. Here.
But people are busy raising their children and they're not focused on the government taking over their state because they are focused on their children and making sure that they can raise them to be productive adults. I think transportation is a pattern because it affects business and industry as well. Shipping of their goods, it affects being able to get to your job on time. Since I've come from Epsom into Concord during commute times, I think transportation is a pattern that affects business, it affects individuals, it affects not a specific segment of the population.
And I think of probably the groups here, we've taken a little bit different tact. And who are you?
Oh, it's Dave Ridley with RidleyReport.com. Are you okay with being filmed?
Oh, I like you guys.
Oh, thanks.
We began our discussion with taking issue with the handout. And as a group, believed that it was pejorative in nature, that it presented facts without context, that it seemed to lead to a predetermined set of conclusions, and that a great deal of the information that was included was outdated. We talked about all of the issues, many that you touched on, but we again pulled it in a little bit closer, and first of all, we think New Hampshire is pretty great the way it is. But if we were to try and make New Hampshire an even better place, our first goal would be to get the government out of the way. Our second goal would be each of us become better informed and more knowledgeable about how our local and state government and its agencies work.
So now with each group sort of finished, what they're having is one person from each group stand up and sort of summarize what was discussed and sort of concluded in the group. Ah, boy, you know, the feds are playing at something here. I don't know what it is exactly. I know their history, and that means I know their motives are never pure. Something this big with this much activity, there's something going on. More here than meets the eye, as Qui-Gon Jinn said.
The future, it has transportation, it preserves the natural resources in town, it has business development so that we can attract young people, that somehow there are incentives for businesses to come to your town.
Trying to find ways to improve things by finding diverse modes of transportation, seeing if there's ways to have centralized transportation systems, and to take care and protect the infrastructure that we currently have. Transportation, or in the reverse, be affected by the transportation, its regulations, and how they affect our options. Some of our members were concerned about the packet having climate change presented as fact and the basis for it, and we're troubled by that. One of the other major concerns is to protect private property and water rights. Concerns that taking grant money in and using it, but when that grant money runs out, how are you going to replace it?
Kind of work that New Hampshire Listens does. What you see is what you get. And we thank the facilitators, the note takers, and all of you for coming out. Safe travels tonight. Please fill out, put the evaluations on the table over there on your way out. Thank you.
LRN.FM, 24 hours of Liberty Radio every day. Now available on satellite too, at sat.lrn.fm. That's what a satellite sounds like. Put it on your unlicensed station. Wear it in your hair. But above all, don't despair. The Liberty message is getting out. And right now, you're missing it. Or maybe you're not. But skip on over to LRN.FM. Feds don't want you to hear them.